Good morning. Today's Bible study comes from Matthew chapter 24, verses 36 through 51. And they read as follows. But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Two men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. Two women will be grinding with the handmill, one will be taken and the other left. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is the faithful and wise servant whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time? It will be good for the servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. Truly I tell you, he will put him in charge of all possessions. But suppose that servant is wicked and says to himself, my master is staying away for a long time, and then he begins to boast, to beat his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with drunkards. The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. This starts off with, but about that time of day, no hour. In the first verse, it tells you that no man knows when the Lord is coming. It even tells you the angels don't, the Son doesn't. So don't listen to any man that tells you they know when the Lord is coming, because they have not been given that gift. If the Son doesn't know, the only one that knows is the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That's going to be man. We're going to be acting the same, doing the same, and I pray to God that we are doing the right things, but you won't know what happens until you get here. You've been given some warnings, but you won't know until it gets there. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Two men will be in the field. One is good, one is not. So one will be taken. Two women will be grinding with a handmill. One is taken, one is not. The Lord is telling you that there will be some that go, but also there will be some that do not go. And then he tells you to keep your eye on this. Therefore, keep watch, because you don't know what day your Lord will come. We don't know. So act like he's coming every day. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time of night a thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. And he compares that to us. We know if somebody's breaking into our house, if we know when they're coming, we're going to be ready. But the question is, if we don't know if they're breaking into our house or when they're breaking into our house, would we still be ready? Should we still be ready? The answer is yes. So you should be ready when he's coming. Prepare like it's happening right now. And it tells you in verse 44, so you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you don't expect him. Who then is faithful and a wise servant, whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time? Who then? It will be good for the servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. We are the faithful servant, and we better be doing what the master says when he returns. He told us to make disciples. He told us to love one another. He told us to be kind and compassionate. He told us not to bear false witness. He told us to study. He told us numerous things to do. And if we are in charge, we need to be faithful. We need to give them their food at the proper time. We need to be sharing this word. It will be good for that servant whose master, that's Jesus, finds him doing so when he returns. So what should that servant be doing? Whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time. That's the word. Give them their food at the proper time. We supposed to share this. Truly I tell you, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. Uh-oh. You get game. But suppose that servant is wicked and says to himself, my master is staying away a long time and short, so I'm going to act a fool. And he then begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with drunkards. Like I said, he's acting a fool. And he begins to beat his fellow servants and eat and drink with drunkards. That's not Christ-like. The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him. Woo! Could you imagine being at fault when Jesus gets here? When he gets here, don't be at fault. And at an hour he is not aware of. You know how your parents used to show up when they'd say, oh, we're going to be out for most of the night and we'll probably get back about 12, 1 o'clock. So you got your buddies at your house at 9:30, 10 o'clock and you tearing it up. And then all of a sudden your parents show up in the driveway at 5 after 10 and you trying to get things together because you know you was wrong. That's what's going to happen. Don't get caught being wrong because you ain't going to be able to clean up in enough time. You ain't going to be able to get it right in enough time. You will not be able to get things in proper order in enough time. He will cut him to pieces. Ooh. And assign him a place with the hypocrites. The place with the hypocrites you already know is hell. But he says it right here in the next verse, and he says it in a different way. He says, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. If you read the word, you'll find that where the weeping and gnashing of teeth are, that's hell. So Jesus is telling us, don't believe in man about when he's coming because no one knows except the Father. Then he's telling you to be ready. Don't be out here faking, not having yourself ready for when he comes back because you don't know when he's coming. And if you get caught with your pants down, it's going to do you no good because it's going to be over. The master will be home and you will reap the punishment, not the benefit. Amen.